Hey everybody, Kel Goldsmith here. I'm in a burn unit that we did a few weeks ago, and I'm just going to walk you guys through how I look at the PostFire Effects monitoring and kind of what I thought about this burn and if we met our objectives that we were trying to accomplish. So for this burn, we were trying to get fire back into a unit that had been burned in 4 years. There was a lot of woody competition that we were trying to get rid of to stimulate understory growth and some wiregrass and other sections of this burn unit I'll show you. We wanted to get rid of some of the scattered water oak and scrub oaks in this unit, the gallberry vines. We wanted to burn this unit without scorching a lot of the pine needles. And we're also trying to get rid of some of the heavy dead and down fuels in here that have fallen on the ground from previous burns, and hopefully make some new snake habitat, creating different structure and making more stump holes. So this is a good example of the vines I was talking about. And these vines are problematic for us because it blocks the sunlight from reaching the ground, creating and stimulating understory growth and vegetation for gopher tortoises and cover for snakes and quail and all sorts of little critters. And they also give us a problem on the edge near fire lines because the fire can climb up those ladder fuels and pitch embers over the fire line, which could allow the fire to get out. Here's an example of one of those water oaks we're trying to get rid of that I said were randomly in this unit. You can see that it's starting to burn down here on the bottom. I don't think we got this one quite yet, but you can tell that after a couple more burns, this will probably be on the ground. I'm starting to see some leaves, some green leaves up at the top. Right there, you might be able to see them. So that one will probably come back, and it'll take a few more burns to actually get that one on the ground. Here's an example of some of the oaks that we killed. All these were standing before we burned it. If you guys follow our Instagram post, this is right there is where I took a picture of a really pretty coach whip when I was taking this the day after the burn. And you can see that some of these oaks have been top killed, but you look down here, you can already tell that they're starting to re-sprout already. So we didn't quite get those ones, but we did top kill them, so we brought them back down to ground level. So here is an example of some of the stump holes in this unit. You can see all the different types of holes that it makes from where the roots burn under the ground there, and creates really good cover and habitat for snakes. And there's hundreds of these, probably maybe even thousands across this unit. And just to show you how many stump holes there are in this unit, it's a little over 150 acres. There's a stump hole here, and this is probably with all a 10 yard radius. There's one there, there, here. So you can see, all these stumps are scattered across this unit. Here's another classic example of a really great stump hole created by fire. You can tell there's that little hole back in there, and there's, I don't know, probably a whole foot once you get in that hole. Square foot in there where a snake could coil up and take refuge. So here's another example of some really good snake habitat and cover created by fire. So obviously this tree has been burned down by fire, and it kind of leaves this bark to be real flaky, and snakes really love to get up underneath this bark right there, and they can take cover and refuge underneath that. Here's another example of structure not so much created by fire, but wind throw. So this tree looked like it was blown over by wind, and then the top was burned in a fire afterwards, but creates more great cover and structure for snakes to get up underneath that root wad there. Behind me is one of the areas I was talking about where there's a lot of gallberry in this unit. You can see all this was about chest high gallberry, and we top killed all of it. If you get down here, you can already tell that most of it's starting to sprout back already. We did top kill that and brought it from probably 5 or 6 feet down to, you know, what it's going to get up to now, probably a foot or two by the end of the summer. So good progress on that, and good job on setting that back, and hopefully we'll get some more grasses in there to replace the gallberry. So here's one of our areas where we have a majority of our wiregrass in this unit. You can tell a lot of it is starting to sprig back up. All this right here. And we top killed a bunch of this woody competition around it, which again is resprouting. So maybe the next burn we do out here, this one was a little earlier in the dormant season. We wanted to do it during that time frame because I had burned in 4 years and it was some really tall gallberry. We wanted to do it during a cooler time of the year. But now that we've got it back on a maintenance schedule for burning, we can do this one for probably 2 years, and maybe we can do this one a little later in the year and hopefully get a better result on this woody competition. So that's kind of how we look at our burns. Overall, I think we did a really nice job on this burn. I will say the one thing I think we could have done a little bit differently was our ignition. We did get some crown scorch or some needle scorch. You can see in some of the trees right here, which they'll definitely survive, but you can see all the needles on the ground here that have fallen off already. And all these trees will make it, no problem. But in term, you know, from an ecological perspective, it's not really that big of a deal. We probably got a little bit better top kill out of burning it a little bit hot. But if you're a private landowner and you were trying to get some value out of these trees, you know, that might set back their growth for, you know, probably 6 to 8 months if they have to put a whole new set of needles on. And we did finish this burn pretty early. I think we finished about 2 o'clock. So we could have done our ignition maybe a little bit slower and maybe not gotten so much crown scorch or some needle scorch. But overall, I think we accomplished everything we were trying to accomplish. And next time we'll do a growing season burn in here when all the woody competition have their carbohydrates up in the leaves. We can burn it and get a little bit better kill on some of those plants. So thank you, and look forward to seeing you guys next month.